Is it the teacher or educational AI? Welcome to another episode of AI-Powered Education. I am Sandra Weiser-Matthews.
And I'm Casey Wacker.
And we are two educators that really care about wonderful, valuable, engaging education for all learners. I'm in a more urban setting, and Casey is in a more rural setting. We both teach, have taught like high school, middle school, and also college level learners. And so we are just digging into AI. And today our conversation deals with, kind of a hot topic, or one with a dilemma to it, because we're just not quite sure what you think about it. So we're going to walk through it. And that topic deals with when you create something, and whether it's you creating it for parents or for caregivers or for your own learners, or you allow AI to create it by all the parameters you give the AI, all the terms, the tone you give it. Is there a problem with that? So, Casey, do you want to talk a little bit about in your setting? I know you're just dealing with this recently.
Yeah, so this question comes up all the time when I'm having a conversation with anybody. And it's like an ethical dilemma in a way, because it's about honesty and about transparency. And what feels like there's doubt and question is when you're using AI to achieve a certain purpose, and you put in the parameters and you say things like, I need to write a letter to parents that tells them X, Y, and Z. You list them out almost like a bullet list, but I need the tone to be approachable and friendly and lighthearted, because right now the issue that I'm having and the reason why I'm needing to send this letter is making my blood boil. I'm angry. I feel frustrated. I feel like nobody's getting it. No one's listening. Right. So like, the concern here is once that letter is created and I send it out to parents, I didn't write every single word of that letter. I used AI to help me generate it, but I knew that the topics that it needed to address, and I put in the parameters and said, this is how I need it to sound. So now it becomes like the ethical dilemma. I mean, no one's going to say, hey, somebody else wrote that. I really don't think a parent's going to come knock on my door and think like, but it does create this moment of doubt and question, right? Do you agree that there's?
Yeah. So again, you gave it all the information. I mean, it's like, again, like when we talked about this, it's like a lesson plan, right? Some of these lesson plans were never ours as educators. We get them in a book, or we get them from Teachers Pay Teachers, or we glean the internet for things and we tweak them a little bit and add our personality to them, or, craft them in a different way. But when we execute them, they are not fully just ours. They came from somewhere. We use them as a starting point, and it sounds no different. But again, is there something about transparency and honesty or something like, is that different when you feel like it's caregiver communication?
Yeah. And I think when I first heard about AI too, and people were saying they were having ChatGPT write emails for them. And I thought, oh, that sounds disingenuous. I mean, it did not rub me the right way. That's for sure. And so now I feel like I'm at that point where I'm also sort of wondering, if I don't tell people that I had AI assist me with this, am I misleading them or not? And that doubt and that question is, I think, where conversation like we're having now comes into play. And the more we talk to each other and the more we communicate with other creators of content to say like, well, how do we feel about this? that's just where this conversation goes. There's no right and there's no wrong. There's, what do you feel good about?
Yeah. Right. So when you generated that letter to the caregivers, did you want to, or did you feel compelled at all? Or did you put at the bottom, just for transparency, AI assisted or AI, anything like that?
Now, technically, I haven't distributed. I haven't sent this letter out yet. I just made it today. You know, it was just it was a conversation from a staff development session where we were all feeling really frustrated about, we're all coming down to, we have the same problem, you know? And so I needed this way to create this letter. And I kind of think, like, how different is this from when we provide students with a template? Because that's essentially what it is. I mean, I had to go through and change some details of it to make it personalized, right? Because it didn't have certain things that I say in my classroom, or things, the 3 rules that we use in our space, and all of that stuff. I needed to make sure I went back and put it in there. So those tweaks are my adjustments to the template that was provided, right?
Still the really core values that you wanted in there, but it's also saving you time.
Yeah. I mean, it did it
on a much more timely basis to caregivers.
Well, and it's a message that I think will be received better than if I went in it with that anger and that, frustration I was feeling. Nobody wants a message to be received that way. Or I want them to know that this is a problem that we need to fix together, but this isn't meant to be me pointing the finger and shaking my hand at them. And that's where my mood was at. That's where I felt like I was going to write it from, but I needed to get this letter done, because if I don't address it now, when there's the problem, I'm only going to perpetuate problems and make it worse. And so in a way, I needed the AI to have this more objective way of writing it than what I could provide.
Right. And 2 things there. I mean, so you're not so much talking about setting a tone yourself, but I mean, you are, but it was like, let the AI be more objective with the materials that I wanted in there, because you don't want to ignite and make things even worse. Mm-hmm. And it also really is just, yeah, there's a lot of really interesting dilemmas to it, but it does take that fire out of it. Mm-hmm. You know, it does set that tone that is much more calm, and yeah, just much more calm, and we need to calm things down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. And I think that it's fair to still have the expectations. The expectations are there. It's clearly stated what we need to do differently going forward, and it asked for parents to collaborate instead of pointing fingers and having it seem like the problem is somebody else's. You know what I mean? And not that I feel that way at all. I don't. I just know how, when a person is upset and they try to write something, you know, we all have regrettable tweets. We all have regrettable conversations where we're fired up. And I think I needed this, and maybe that's what makes it okay in the general sense of using AI, is to say, you know, if you're having the ethical dilemmas and you're concerned about, like, is it me or is it the AI? Like, who's writing this? What are your intentions? Like, and does that work match your intention? Or, I mean, if you're blindly letting AI do everything for you, you know, we tell our students this too. If you're letting AI write an essay for you, you didn't proofread it, you didn't put any parameters in there that told it specifically what you're looking for and why you're looking for that. And if you didn't even reflect once on that and think about it, then you're doing it wrong. Right now we have a right and a wrong.
So it's going back to just being critical thinkers, about being genuine, caring, right? And it kind of goes back to what we keep talking about, is that human, like actual humanity this time, that is part of the process and in the loop, not just the emotion, but it's the whole package to really send the right message that needs to be sent. And working together with AI, it sounds like that's exactly what you're trying to craft. So with that, the dilemma, but I don't think it is a dilemma. I think, like you just said, with real care and focus and what's in your heart and doing the right thing and the right message makes a difference. Thank you.
Thank you.